1962, London, a successful newspaper editor, at the peak of his career, making more money than he could easily spend. He had everything that today's world calls success. But one morning, he quietly walked into his boss's office, placed his resignation on the desk, went to the bank, and withdrew almost all of his life savings. He didn't buy a luxurious mansion. He didn't invest in company stocks. Instead, he bought a tiny, completely deserted island in the middle of the Indian Ocean. Its name was Moyenne Island. The price, about £8,000. People laughed. His friends said, "Brendon Grimshaw has lost his mind." They were convinced he'd be back within a few months, but no one could have imagined that over the next 40 years, this same man would transform that forgotten island into one of the most extraordinary natural paradises on Earth. And then, when he was offered nearly $50 million for that very island, he refused without a second thought. The real question isn't why he turned down that much money. The real question is, what did he find on that deserted island that was worth more than the greatest fortune in the world? Brendon Grimshaw was the editor of a respected British newspaper. Every day, the same office, the same meetings, the same headlines, the same deadlines. From the outside, everything looked perfectly in place, but inside, something was slowly falling apart. Years later, he admitted that he had begun to feel he wasn't really living anymore. He was simply repeating the same life. He wasn't looking for another job. He wasn't dreaming of a bigger house. He was searching for a way out of the life he was already living. And perhaps he saw that escape on a forgotten little island, surrounded by nothing but the sea. When Brendon first arrived on Moyenne Island, he wasn't greeted by the kind of tropical paradise you see on postcards. The island was covered with thorny bushes. The jungle was so dense that without an axe, it was almost impossible to walk more than a few steps. No drinking water, no electricity, no roads, no neighbors, only the sea, the wind, and a silence that after a few days no longer felt peaceful, but punishing. At night, when storms shook his tiny wooden hut, one question echoed through his mind, again and again. Have I just made the biggest mistake of my entire life? If he had gone back home right then, no one would have blamed him. But he made a decision that changed the direction of this entire story. He decided he would not live on the island as its owner. He would live there as its caretaker, but one man, alone, could never transform an entire island. Around that time, he met a young man who came by boat from a nearby island. His name was René Lafortune. He was the son of a local fisherman. At first, René only came over occasionally to help Brendon with the work, but little by little, he noticed something unusual. This foreigner wasn't taking anything from the island. He was giving something back. One day, René finally asked, "Why are you doing all this?" Brendon smiled, then quietly replied, "Because for the first time in my life, I feel like I'm working on something that will still be alive after I'm gone." Perhaps that was the moment when two separate lives became one shared purpose. Not long afterward, René left his home behind and came to live on that deserted island with Brendon for the rest of his life. It was no longer one man's dream. It had become a shared promise between two human beings. After that, there were no overnight miracles. Every morning, the two men went to work. One dug a hole, the other planted a tree, then another, then another, then another. One day became a month. 1 month became a year, and before they knew it, 40 years had passed. During those 40 years, Brendon and René planted more than 16,000 trees together: mahogany, palm, mango, and many other native species, they didn't simply plant trees. They breathed life back into a dying ecosystem. Scientists believed the island's natural balance had been almost completely destroyed, but together, the two men proved that prediction wrong. Slowly, rare birds returned, birds that had abandoned the island decades earlier. Then, Brendon brought Aldabra giant tortoises, among the largest land tortoises on Earth, to the island. He didn't simply keep them there. He created a safe sanctuary for them. True wealth isn't what you lock away inside a vault. It's what you quietly nurture when no one is watching. Little by little, Moyenne Island was no longer a deserted island. It had become a living miracle in the middle of the Indian Ocean. And then, just when nature had finally reclaimed that place, the modern world noticed it too, where some people saw paradise, others saw a very profitable business opportunity. And that was where Brendon Grimshaw's greatest test was about to begin. Because this time, he wasn't facing the jungle. This time, he was facing temptation. By the year 2000, Moyenne Island was no longer a forgotten patch of land. Where thorny wilderness had once stood, there were now towering trees. Where silence had once ruled, rare birds filled the air with their songs. And where life had nearly disappeared, giant Aldabra tortoises now wandered freely. But the world has a habit. Whenever nature creates something extraordinary, the marketplace sees an opportunity. Before long, an offer arrived. International developers, along with a wealthy Saudi prince, wanted to buy the entire island. The price? Nearly $50 million. Almost unimaginable wealth. Imagine it. The very place people once dismissed as worthless was now worth a fortune. If Brendon had seen the island as nothing more than an investment, this would have been the deal of a lifetime. But Brendon never saw the island as an investment. He saw it as a responsibility. It is said, Brendon listened to the offer. He remained silent for a moment. Then slowly, he looked out across the forest, where every tree carried a memory. He remembered those endless mornings when he and René stood knee-deep in the soil, planting one sapling after another. He remembered the giant tortoises that now walked toward him like old friends. He remembered the rare birds that had returned after decades away. Could any amount of money possibly put a price on all of that? Brendon placed the papers back on the table and spoke just one word. No. He didn't simply reject an offer. He rejected the belief that everything beautiful can be bought. But Brendon didn't stop there. He knew that one day he would no longer be there, and after he was gone, someone else might sell the island. For years, he worked to make sure that after his death, Moyenne Island could never become a private resort. Working alongside the government and environmental conservation groups, his efforts finally succeeded. Moyenne Island received legal protection and became one of the world's smallest national parks. He didn't just protect his present, he protected the future. One day, a journalist asked him, "Why did you turn down so much money?" Brendon smiled. Then, in a calm voice, he replied, "They were trying to sell me back the life I had escaped." That was all. No long speech, no philosophy, and yet, perhaps, that single sentence was the deepest answer his entire story could ever give. In 2012, Brendon Grimshaw took his final breath on the very island that people had once called the biggest mistake of his life. That same island had become his greatest legacy. He left behind no enormous bank account, no empire. Instead, he left behind life itself. thousands of trees, rare birds, giant tortoises, and an island that still stands today as proof that when a single human being truly commits to something, it's possible not only to protect nature, but to bring it back to life. He didn't change the world by writing a book. He changed an island and let that become his answer. Brendon Grimshaw's story is not simply the story of a man who walked away from money. If that's all we see, we may miss its deepest meaning. He didn't reject wealth because wealth is evil. He rejected it because he understood something profound. There are some things in life that begin to disappear the moment we try to buy them. Peace, time, nature, trust, and a sense of purpose. Today, most of us spend our lives trying to add more money, more recognition, more possessions, more success. But sometimes life's greatest achievement isn't found in adding something new. It's found in having the courage to remove what no longer belongs. We spend our entire lives trying to make the world our servant, only to discover that we've become servants to the very things we once called our possessions. Brendon didn't find happiness because he bought an island. He found happiness because for the first time, he devoted his life to something that would outlive him. Take a moment and look at your own life. How many things are you chasing right now that you don't truly need? And how many things truly worth protecting have never received your time? Perhaps the real question isn't, what else do I need in my life? Perhaps the better question is, when I'm gone, what will I leave behind? Because in the end, we won't be remembered for how much we earned. We'll be remembered for whether the world became even a little better because we were here. And perhaps that is life's greatest reward.